Hi everyone. I wanted to share a couple of quick tricks that I find really useful when working with counterpoint, when composing counterpoint exercises. These are sort of relevant for both second and fourth species, but especially for fourth species when you can run into certain things that are tricky to deal with. So first of all, I wanted to point out that the only combination of notes that allows you to counterpoint a single note with two notes that move by step is when you use 6 and 5. So for example, if you have a D here in your cantus firmus, the only way to harmonize that with two stepwise notes is to either write B to A, that is a sixth to a fifth, or if you were to write the reverse, A to B. So that's something to keep in mind for second species counterpoint and also for fourth species. The other trick is a little bit less intuitive, but it will really save you some trouble when you're working with fourth species counterpoint. So one trick that I like to keep in mind is that if you're ever faced with two notes in the cantus firmus that leap in consecutive measures, so for example, B leaping up to D, or D leaping downward to B, you need to find a note, right, that can be consonant in the second half of the first measure, but that will also be valid in the first part of the second measure, which means none of the suspensions will really work in this case when you're leaping, and so you need to end on a consonance here as well so that you can then leap to a consonance that will set up your next suspension. The trick here is that you need to find the note that is going to be a fifth from the lower pitch in the cantus firmus and a third from the higher pitch in the cantus firmus. So for example, if I've got B, I'm going to want F sharp. Not F, since that would be a tritone, but hopefully you're writing in a way that allows you to use F sharp. That can then be tied across the bar so that it's a fifth above the first note and a third above the second, and then vice versa in the opposite case. That same pitch is a third or a tenth above the first note and a fifth above the second note. Then you can continue and find some sort of consonance in the second half of the next measure that's going to set you up for your next suspension. So for example, you can go from 5 to 6 here, or you could choose, for example, to leap to B, or leap to move to A, or something like that, that's going to give you consonant counterpoint against this D, and then hopefully set you up for the rest of the example. So those are just two tricks to keep in mind when you're writing counterpoint. Remember, 6 to 5 or 5 to 6 is the only way you're going to be able to use stepwise motion to counterpoint a single note in a single measure. And the fifth and third trick is the only way that you'll be able to counterpoint a leap with a single note.